What is up, everybody, and welcome to the RSL. Upstate with me is Sturgeon. We're getting ready to kick off the playoffs here in Season 5.
We are indeed. The group stages are all done and dusted. We have our 8 players. We're going to get into this, into the bracket phase. It is double eliminations. And we have 4 Zergs for the first time in the playoffs, so I am especially excited.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I really like the way the bracket is shaped up this time. I'm sure we're going to go into that in a minute. Oh, we're going to go into it right now, actually. Ziggy's listening today, May 15th.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week of the season here, another playoff edition of the RSL Season 5. I'm, of course, your Slight VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the other fellow mainstream casters as well. Welcome. Bienvenidos, as we have here, we have returned with something different with a co-stream. Now, if you're maybe a little bit newer to the channel, we've been co-streaming for the past couple of seasons. Actually, maybe since Season 3, maybe since around Season 3-ish of RSL. I don't think we were doing the first 2 seasons, if I recall correctly. But yes, we are going to be here co-streaming. Of course, we'll be listening in to our lovely caster Sturgeon and Sturgeon and State. They're going to be covering that, of course, and we are here going to be covering it ourselves and giving our own extra commentary. Meanwhile, we have our broadcast schedule here. We have GSL and RSL, of course, concurrently. We do actually live cast GSL, not even co-stream, but RSL playoffs, at least, we do purely co-stream instead, as it's a very intense month of StarCraft. Very intense.
So if you're watching live, make sure you get here early because those final days, they're going to be action-packed. A lot of StarCraft 2, a lot of different series.
Happy birthday.
Official sponsor here for the RSL, Argon Studio. They're making
SJ Paralyzed. I see Aisa as well. Setsuna. Bienvenidos.
They've been sending us a lot of things to look at.
Yes, we're here. We are back. Of course, once again, big shout out to Argon Studios and the StarCraft Finishers game for sponsoring the RSL. Great to see. And I do look forward to seeing some Finishers actions from the RSL team in regards to not just painting, not just constructing, but even having a match themselves as well. Do look forward to it. Meanwhile, also shout out to the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. That's our Patreon, but also shout out to the RSL Patreon, !RSL in the chat. To get links to the Patreon page, with that you can get some voting in. You can vote for players, vote for maps, you can get replays. You can get quite a bit of benefits from joining the Patreon and supporting the RSL.
Get a lot of bang for your buck. The RSL.
Quite a bit. Meanwhile, when it comes to tonight's broadcast, it is going to be 2 matches. 2 best of 5s. We have our initial PvZ between Classic and Solar, and we have a PvZ between herO and SHIN. So in the end, we have 2 best of 5s. Looks like we don't quite have our vetoes yet, but we are looking at the maps that are going to be transferred in and transferred out. Looks like Mothership, Taito, and Throne of Dunes are out. Meanwhile, at Attorney's Edge, Exarch, and Rorschach are in. Once again, I've been very clear about this. I'm not too fond of the idea of incorporating maps that are not in the TLMC map pool. So, yeah, Missing You Today is still there, Necropolis is still there, which is a shame, is what I will say, as those 2 maps are not a part of the Team Liquid map contest, so voting will not be available for them. I feel like those are missed opportunities to showcase some maps, right? To showcase some maps, to showcase some of the newer maps, of course, that are soon to be voted on, as it looks like we have our vetoes complete.
Some kind of games that we haven't really seen before due to the maps that we've had voted in.
Yeah, and look at this. Set number 1 and set number 2 on 2 of those new maps. Exarch and Rorschach here for Classic versus Solars. The players are getting ready, and my goodness, Solar's room just continues to impress me. Look at that trophy case in the back. I know Classic's got a pretty impressive one on the left, but wow.
We have Solar's doggo.
Trophies between the 2 of them.
His doggo. Behind this, we do have a vetoes, Exarch, Rorschach, Missing You Today, Ruby Rock, and Necropolis. So we do have a bunch of the older maps like Missing You Today and Necropolis, and we have 2 newer maps with Exarch and Rorschach. Now, very quickly, I do hope that they're using the updated version of Exarch. For those who don't know, Exarch, there's the older version and then the one that was updated. Actually, now that I think about it, I believe Exarch's TLMC version was updated. So we should be able to experience the speed zones and the slow zones in the center. So it should be the updated version.
We're going to Exarch for the first map here between Solar and Classic. And my goodness, it's my first time casting a game here on Exarch. Look at that mini map.
It is a big map.
Wow.
It is a big map. And interesting to note, we've got the close by air spawns between these guys. They are.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our South Korean Zerg player. We do have our red Zerg. It is Solar. We have Solar top right, and we have Classic bottom right. Let's go. I remember that they don't do intros. God damn it.
Yes,
Classic, of course, for Virtus Pro, as this is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, bottom left, top left, and bottom left as well.
We'll actually be there in time to block it. And he's going to go through this little mineral patch here and take the
thank you so much for the bits.
down here, which is actually quite close to the Protoss.
Oh.
Interesting decision there by Solar, and Classic also going to be using the worker-only path.
Yeah, crazy expansion location for Solar. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, it's Gamba time. Place your bets. Place your bets. Know you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Best of luck.
But as you said, Sturgeon, with the expansion for Zerg being so close to the Protoss' base, I wonder if we might see something a little bit more aggressive from Classic here in map number 1. It seems like this might be a really good angle to go in with, say, like a blink pressure timing attack. Even on 2 bases, I could see something like that being viable.
I'm just thinking about an adept build where it shades from the natural and literally one shade and reaches the Zerg base. That would be an absolute nightmare. Or even something like a charged Archon all in. It's going to hit.
So they're discussing the close by ground and close by air spawn locations, and that is going to favor aggression, 100%. The base location for Soul is crazy, by the way. Like, he opted not to take his natural, expanding at the unnatural location in a really awkward position. Like Classic, he can punish this real hard.
Yeah, luckily Solar has gone the right way with his first Overlord. Yeah, I mean, if you scout last with your Overlord, you're not going to be able to see the Protoss wall. You won't see the timing on that warp gate, if they're chronoing the Adept, all this kind of key information. So both of them actually scouted the right way the first time, which is nice for both of them.
It feels more impactful for Classic, though, because, you know, if you're not going to take your natural expansion as Zerg, if you're going to be expanding either to the base on either side of that natural expansion, it's a little bit of a gamble if you have a close by air, or I guess if you're in one of the neighboring corners, I should say, here on X-Arch, because here for Solar, he's going to have to play quite conservatively here in map number 1.
Not gonna lie, it's bothering me that he keeps calling it X-Arch. Like I can't do it.
Things would be a lot safer for him.
State, but I would.
It's a bit of a tricky position.
Yeah, and the Adept is already here. This is so quick. Before the Zerglings can actually even run round to Solar's second base. Workers coming through this worker.
The wall's closed. Drone's going to be going down.
Might see a couple of these drones go down. He hasn't shaded away yet. One falls already. Will he be able to save the second one? Yeah, with the Spore Crawler. Very nice.
Yeah, and the mineral wall, it's a 30 mineral patch, so it takes quite a few trips for this to actually get fully mined out here. Actually, maybe 35. Is it different from each to each? Anyway, 35 on that one that we have highlighted by our observer.
Yeah, it looks like
it's 35 each then. Okay. But that's quite a few trips for a drone or a probe to kind of clean everything up, to have a clear pathway for units such as the Zerglings to actually deal with harassment coming in from units like the Adept. So
yeah, and doing it this early kind of hurts your economy a little bit. Like you have one drone working away on that. It's
basically
he's not
idle.
mining, right? Yeah. Here comes the Oracle. There is a second one on the way. Again, reaching the base super quick. 2 queens are here, but we will see one drone go down before this one is shooed away. Oh, doesn't get the second one there. A little bit unlucky on that second target fire. He confirms the third base. And yeah, I'm just thinking about how exposed this second base is for Zerg right now.
yeah, we'll see what Classic is going to do. Actually, it seems like he's just going to go for a third base
4-minute Roach Warren. Now, what I was going to say here is that given the positions here, Solar, I want him to be the aggressor. Like, you can't allow your opponent to get into their own build. With a 4-minute Roach Warren timing, it looks like Solar does plan on being more aggressive. It could just be for safety, right? It could just be a safety Roach Warren, but we're imagining more aggression here.
Advantage from it. Solar's already going to be playing on likely a lower drone count. He might be getting a safety Roach Warren faster than he typically would be. You can't really afford to cut that many corners right now as Zerg with your expansion so close to the Protoss base. And that in and of itself is a little bit of indirect damage. And speaking of damage, 6 drones falling down. So those 2 Oracles really getting a lot of eco harm done.
Yeah, very nice work with those Oracles. It goes the other way as well, though. Zerg's also very close.
So we have 4 Roaches on the way already here for Solar. There we go, up to 6 Roaches. As we had assumed, this early Roach Warren was aggressive, and it looks like we are going across the map. So it's going to be an all-in here by Solar, cutting workers at 32.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the case. There's already 3 Oracles out, so they have a good chance of spotting this if the Queens don't deny them the vision. He sees the first Roach here.
And Classic confirms no drones at this expansion. Solar is only on 32 drones right now. And these Oracles are quite low on energy. And actually, one of them gets sniped. Rotating back home, Solar spreading the creep right now. They're on the front line, and one less Oracle is going to make defense a lot more difficult here for Classic. Third base, I think this might just get sacrificed here by Classic. I don't think you can feasibly defend this.
Yeah, he doesn't even need the German taxi. The Queens just walk from that base as it is so close. Roach Ravager knocking on the door right now. The Bio's going down on this Cybercore. The Protoss unit's kind of stuck behind the wall. They are being healed by this shield.
Wait, I just realized this is the older version of XR, right? Like there are no speed and slow zones in the center. Am I crazy?
Oracle's able to find one of the Ravagers. Get a lot of damage done. Keep in mind, Solar with such a low economy behind this is going to have a hard time reinforcing. Cybernetics Core now has fallen. The next Cybernetics Core is the building you see warping in on your screen right now. It's about halfway done, and Classic's actually mined out. This ramp, I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, Classic can't warp in units except for Zealots. The Lings are coming from behind. They're heading to make their way into the mineral line. He's getting in.
Find their way in.
He gets in.
Some units warped in back home to defend this, but there's so much at the front here. More bios going down. The Queen's actually blocking all the Zerg units here at the front. The mineral line under attack. These probes will start to fall. And is this
Classic banking so many resources here because he just can't warp in. You have to wait for the Cyber Core. Can he hold it?
The anti-air is the real limiting factor
Can he
right now
hold?
for Zerg. In a couple of
Yeah,
seconds,
the Queens are blocking the Lings.
He
gets in.
Another Queen comes in, reinforcing. It looks like we might. There might be just enough for Solar to actually push through. I think the Oracles, they just don't have enough energy. Yeah, that's it. GG is called.
Wow. It's so funny. We were looking at X-Arch as this huge macro map. Like, imagine how many bases you can take here, and then they get the close spawns vertically, and all these aggressive options just open up. And Solar says, yeah, I'm close to you, but you're also close to me. Let me do
Yeah, it's one of those things where, unfortunately, Classic, he didn't scout. We mentioned earlier that because of the close by ground, it would make a lot of sense for Soul to go all in, and then he threw down the 4-minute Roach Warren, but that's something that Classic never saw, right? He didn't see the Roach Warren timing, so he just got his third base at a regular timing, got his Twilight Council and Forge as well, regular timing build when it comes to Classic, but because of the rush distance, because of the specific spawn location, he was just being greedy, right? He was being greedy, he didn't take into consideration the aggressive nature of the map and of specifically the spawn location of Solar and the natural base location as well, and then GG, especially the Queens. They pointed out themselves, but the Queens arrived so quickly across the map. They hit the natural base so hard, and GG. GG, well played. GG well played. With that, Solar takes a lead, and Solar takes a lead in the series, and we'll see how the series plays out here. Once again, when it comes to the game itself, it was very unique to Exarch, or Exarch, as our casters are calling it, but it's very unique to Exarch, and we do expect to see something quite different coming into our next map instead. Bearing in mind, we are going to be featuring some of the older RSL maps, like Missing You Today and Necropolis later on in the series. We'll get there.
Game number 2 is loaded in, and let's continue on in this best-of-5 series between Solar and Classic. On Rorschach, Classic spotting in the bottom right. It's the blue Protoss. Solar at the bottom left is the red Zerg.
Oh.
Yeah, indeed. We didn't really get to see what Classic had planned that last map, obviously, as it was very aggressive out of Solar. We'll have to see what he wants to go for in the rest of this series. I'm sure he'll throw in a Glaives build at one point. I feel like all the Protoss do. Once you get into
so very quickly talking about the map itself, Rorschach. Rorschach is a 2-player small map, hyper aggressive by the way, very short rush distance by ground, and has a healing pad in the center as well. So Rorschach does typically favor aggression. I'll be honest, I've rarely casted on Rorschach because it often gets vetoed, right? It's a very commonly vetoed map at the moment when it comes to the online tournament scene. So unfortunately, we just haven't seen much of Rorschach, at least on the channel. So I'm curious, again, short rush distance by ground, healing pad in the center. There's some hybrid, if not gold expansions off in the center as well. It has some really unique features. We just have rarely experienced this map.
I feel like it's a bit tricky for either of these players to try and take the bases in the close by air distance.
Yeah, it's very high risk, high reward, right? Like you're going to get a lot of minerals down there, but also it's pretty easy to attack. If you have air units, you're going to be able to hit that very quick, and it's harder to defend down there as well. It's quite a long walk around. So if you're taking your third base, I guess if you take the 2 front ones, maybe it's slightly easier.
Yeah, but then you've already expanded basically to the midpoint of the map if you take the 2 front bases, right?
Yeah.
I would be surprised if we saw something like that, but it would be very fun.
We could.
I would love to see that. We have the hatchery just finishing up now. Core is on the way. We'll see what Classic's tech of choice is momentarily here. Zergling speed will be fired up in the near future as well, as this Overlord comes over to the wall.
So what they're getting at here, so far we have some standard openers, just hatch gas pool. We do have our gate expand. We're waiting for a tech of choice here. It should be a Stargate open out of Classic. What we're really looking for though is the timing of the tech of Solar. Last game was a 4-minute Roach Warren, so once again we're looking for a fast Roach Warren, or looking for a fast Evo Chamber, or looking for a fast Lair. That's kind of the big signs we're looking for from Solar side of things.
Seconds faster than it usually is. That plus a chrono boosted adept. Looks like Classic's going to try and get a little bit of economic damage done early.
And that probe stole those minerals. He's taking them home. He's out of here. He said, thank you very much. I'll take these back home. We do see it's a Stargate follow-up here, and Solo did see the chrono on the Adept, so he'll be aware that that is coming across the map nice and quickly. He does
It's whether they played on RSL Exarch, but they played on TLMC22 Rorschach. That's it's kind of weird that they had their own version of Exarch, which is the not updated one.
Up now by Classic, so he's going to try and find some damage with that early on here. So we're just scouting for proxies.
I like this position of the Ling. He's going to see exactly as this Oracle leaves the base.
I wonder if they made their own RSL version of Exarch specifically because they didn't want the speed and slow zones. That would be wild, by the way, if that was the case.
I feel like that's the natural pathway you would want to take with the first Oracle. It's the closest expansion in the main base. You know it's going to be the most full of drones, so why not? But I guess if you could send a Ling through the front door, you're also going to know there's an Oracle coming at you, so...
Yeah, these Adepts are across the map right now. They're shading away, so they're going to try and run in, kill a drone or two, and then shade out. One falls instantly. Just the one drone kill going down there for one Adept. I think that's a good trade for Solar.
Yeah, not too bad for Solar. The Spore Crawler actually finishing in the main base at the perfect moment as well to deal with this Oracle. Especially impressive considering this was a no-scout opening here for Classic. That Oracle considerably faster than it usually is.
What? The probe got a kill?
I think it was the Ling in the main base.
Oh,
but there's a lot more Lings
the wall's open.
natural. Probes having
Adept's out of position.
Don't want to deal with this one. Already 3 workers going down.
Oh, that's not
This
the
has
wall.
been an excellent early game here for Solar, and Classic just realized that is not a full wall of the natural, so he's finally going to clog that up.
Yeah, Solar's taking...
For those who are curious, it's a Fast Twilight Council. Fast Twilight Council late forge, so this could be either early Blink into Blink Aggression or early Glaives.
Just sharking around this third
It's looking like Blink just because it's a lower gateway count. We often see a gateway explosion with Glaives.
Get out of here, just waste a bit of energy.
I feel like this is another Queen Walk angle, honestly. With the way this game has been going, with both players taking the forward expansions, and with Solar having such a good early game, only losing one drone.
Yeah, once again, 4-minute Roach Warren. True, same Roach Warren timing, and we can go for the all-in. But this time, Classic has early Blink.
Going to be finishing up around 4.
So Classic should have a stronger defense if it's an all-in.
Attack of choice for Classic this game, going for that forge as well to get the upgrades.
Yeah, same build. Same build that a Solo, he's going for the all-in. But again, this time Classic, he should have a stronger army and earlier timing for Blink.
Behind this push as well, so a lot more reinforcement should be able to come in. Solar's been very proactive with a creep spread down in the center, using all these queens to shoo away the oracles and also spread those creep timbers as rapidly as possible.
He's going for the all-in.
And will Classic be able to defend? I think he knows this is coming. He casted Revelation. He sees the queens walking across the map. He sees no drones, or very few drones, I should say, at the third base here with the scouting Adepts. So another Oracle gets started. Shield batteries are being thrown down. But is it too late?
Wow, Classic has definitely sniffed this build out. 4 shield batteries going down.
So again, something that the casters didn't recognize, but like we're trying to emphasize here, is that Classic intentionally got earlier Blink than normal, like really early Blink, to the point where Blink is going to finish in time for the defense. It's going to be kicking in like halfway through, so it can actually impact and he can be that much more efficient with his Stalkers. Oh, the Link Zone! Oh my god!
It's not in the perfect position. So the Circling's going to get into the main base right now. Oracles have to deal with that. Instead of fighting on the front line, those Oracles paired up with the Stalkers might be able to take down those Queens, but right now they have to do cleanup duty in the main base, and that leaves the third woefully exposed here for Classic.
Yeah, in the natural mineral line, these shield batteries.
Classic out of position, getting torn apart. The Biles connect on the Stalkers.
The Oracles start to engage the Queens, but the Queens actually...
Solo might have just done it.
I'm not sure if there's enough anti-air here. These Queens might go down.
Like, that was huge. The Biles, oh my god, he gets another Oracle. He gets 2.
Down, only 1 remaining. 1 Queen left as well. It looks like Solar.
And Blink is finishing, but by now it doesn't matter. Blink does not matter. Not anymore.
Getting toppled once more in a game that is eerily similar to game number 1. And honestly, it feels like the stars just aligned for Solar. It's such a convincing push through into the third base this time because the early game was just so spectacular. Man, Solar came to play today.
Yeah, he is not messing around. He does not want to play any long games.
Biles connect. Again, a lot of it came down to, and they touched on this as well, it came down to lack of wall, right? The lack of wall of the natural base. If it wasn't for that, then the Oracles could have supported the Stalkers, right? Then Lynx would not have gotten us around, then Biles would not have connected, Stalkers wouldn't have gone down, Classic would have been able to kite back and push forward and actually make a stand, but it all changed when Lynx got in, and the Oracles had to defend in the main base, not at the third location.
But Classic is effectively limping into the mid-game right now. He is half the word count of Solar, down 1 expansion. Solar then taking another base 2 to make that 4 expansions to 2. And really, all Classic has on his side of the map is, what, a couple of Oracles, a couple of Stalkers, and not much else. So you can't even really do a successful counterattack here as Classic. It just, nothing is going his way.
Game 3 is missing you today, right? Yeah, GG. GG.
He knows.
He's going to GG out of Game 2. So Solo with 2 very aggressive timings here. One hit at 32 workers. This one was about 2 base saturation. A little bit more economy behind it, so it hits a bit later, but a bit harder. And yeah, Solo's just making it happen in the mid game here.
I think we've been live less than 20 minutes, and we're already
the mid game.
On match point.
This is my one thing that I keep bringing up because it keeps happening. I don't know if you noticed, but they're like, wow, that was a really strong timing. Solo was all in. Solo was all in. He went for a 4-minute Roach Warren. He once again 2 games in a row. Like, he had no plan behind it. He had no upgrades behind it. He had no further tech. He had no further droning either. Like, he was very, very committed there, which is why it does hit as hard as it did. Once again, as you mentioned, Classic did slip up when it comes to his natural base defense. When it comes to his wall-off, he had a subpar defense as a result of that. Blink did finish earlier this time, but by the time it did, it was too late due to all the chaos that was ensuing. As you mentioned, if there was a proper wall at the natural base, then suddenly the Oracles can fortify the Stalkers. Suddenly the Stalkers don't get surrounded. The Stalkers don't get biled either. We get to Kai back. We get to actually have a back and forth defense there, and maybe Classic defends, as he had such a stronger defense compared to game number 1. In terms of batteries, in terms of blink timing, in terms of preparation, like, it was better, but execution was lacking.
It's very far, yeah.
It's definitely a nice strategy to have in your back pocket against somebody who's trying to expand greedily here. As folks, we want you to
don't know what
check out
hype
YouTube
was.
and lend us some support. We actually heard from our production that there is a new feature on YouTube. This is brand new to me, so I might fumble through the explanation.
You're gonna hype up a video.
It's something called Hype. I think you can only do this on your mobile phone, on the YouTube app.
Oh, there you
but
go.
it's a way that you can interact. I think you like scroll to the right from the comment section.
Right.
You can interact with a video. I believe it's the first week that the video's been up. You can interact with it, and what it effectively does.
I had no idea that you could quote-unquote hype a video. Okay, sure, why not? No, that means if you're out there, hype up the video, papi, hype it up. But otherwise, we're going to be going on a break. We're going to be cutting to a break here. Hopefully, we have a back and forth. If you recall, in previous RSLs and even last GSL season, one of our big criticisms about the current meta is that we have non-stop aggression, non-stop all-ins, and these broadcast days have been very short. That's also why I feel like RSL should accommodate for that and should adapt and should have more matches per day instead of just 2, just because we've had a lot of very short broadcast days. But regardless, hopefully we have a back and forth. Hopefully we have a longer series, and Classic can make a series out of it and bring us to game 4 and bring us to the ace match. But the pressure is on Classic. We're going to be coming to a break. When we come back, we'll have game 3 and hopefully the beginning of a back and forth series. And hopefully we get to sink our teeth a little bit more into our PvZs instead of just non-stop, 2 base all-ins. For now, see you soon. See you soon, papi. See you soon.
Cinematic. You start out with a ton of Zerglings, some, like the standard ones, you'd start out the game with, others with wings, like when you get the speed upgrade. These ones are Raptor Zerglings. You get roaches in this as well. These also spawn little roachlings. What I love about this is not just the fact that the details there, but it's also that they took a lot of the game mechanics that you have when you're playing StarCraft and brought it into the tabletop miniatures game. The Queen also is able to make creep tumors. So you've got creep tumors that you're going to be spreading. You've got burrow tokens. So your units can be burrowing when you're actually playing the game. We've got Kerrigan over here. It looks like it's right out of one of the cutscenes you would see from those iconic Blizzard cinematics. My favorite out of all of them actually is going to be the Nidus. This thing is huge in comparison to the rest of the figurines. And it's cool to see that they're bringing the ability for Zerg to maneuver very quickly and spread into the game as well. As amazing as this looks, it's not just a bunch of figurines. This is actually a game. Each unit comes with a corresponding card. And on the card are the different attributes and abilities for that unit. Just like in a normal game of StarCraft, you get upgrades. This one's for the Roach. You flip the card over, you're going to see what kind of upgrades you can unlock, and those are going to give you different abilities that allow you to do different things with the units in the game. When a game starts, you get both minerals and Vespian gas. The units cost minerals, the tactical cards cost Vespian gas. Take a tactical card, if you flip it over, you get to see what abilities you're going to be able to unlock and cast during the game. In order to get started, go to the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. There you can find the game rules but also the army builder. From there, you pick a faction, how many minerals and Vespian gas you get. You spend those minerals and Vespian gas to unlock units and tactical cards. And from there, you're ready to go. For more information on the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game, sign up for the newsletter on Archon Studios' website. Check it out.
To have you with us. Oh, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us here for this best of 5 series between Solar and Classic. Solar already leading the series.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League Season 5 Playoffs Day 1 co-stream. Of course, we're going to be joining both State and Sturgeon here, at least for the time being. I'm sure Gemini and Tasteless will be jumping on at some point throughout the broadcast. For those who are curious, of course, as always, we do have permission to co-stream. We've had permission to co-stream for the past couple of seasons. Actually, every season, to be fair. We just didn't co-stream Season 1 and Season 2. But regardless, we are here to bring you our additional commentary in addition to our lovely casters bring to the table as well. So shout out to both Sturgeon and State for jumping on. And again, as they were mentioning, so far it's been a very short series. So far we haven't really sunk our teeth too much into it. We had some crucial missteps from Classic, I will say. Game 1, Classic failed to scout. Game 2, Classic scouted, but did fail to defend. The execution was lacking there for Classic. And so far it's been a very shaky start. It's been a very short series. We're hoping for a back and forth. Regardless of who wins, I want to see Game 4. I want to see Game 5. I want to see some mid-game. That's what I want, at least. We'll see if we can get there, though. And so far, it's been non-stop early game all-ins, and depending on the map, of course, we can embrace that. I believe Game 3 is going to be on Missing You Today, if I recall correctly, which is a very large map that does incentivize more macro play. So that's something to look forward to, especially because the map itself does lean towards that. Both Exarch and Rorschach do lean towards all-ins, specifically because of the spawn location on Exarch. But let's go.
It's just something else you have to worry about. And yeah, in the end, those Lings got in again and again and again. Solar was able to take Game 2, but we are moving on. Solar in the bottom right is now on match point. Classic trying to fight back in this series in the top left. The map is going to be Missing You Today.
Yeah, spawning in top left-hand corner we have Classic for Virtus Pro, and of course bottom right we have Solar.
Yeah, having to win 3 in a row is really
Let's go. Let us go. The pressure's on Classic, but again, I do think that this is a very good map to start the comeback on. As we were mentioning previously, this is Missing You Today. Very large map, long rush distance by ground, defendable 4 and 5 bases. I will say that the bases are very spread out. They're very spread out, and it can be quite difficult to rotate between them and to keep up with aggressive rotations. That is true, but we should be able to embrace the longer and later game. I would say that Queen Walks and Queen All-Ins are weaker on Missing You Today.
Because Solar just happened to take the expansion closer to this Classic space when he got blocked at the hatchery. But I feel like on Missing You Today, there's enough distance that Classic will get the crucial seconds he needs to actually set up a formidable defense should Solar go for the same build. So I'm not expecting to see the same kind of game here in game number 3, but I mean, who knows? If you're Solar right now and you win with that strategy in Game 1 and Game 2, it might just make sense to keep doing it until Classic shows he could defend it at least once, right?
I agree completely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, 2 road to average Queen All-Ins, they work. I mean, why not throw one in? Maybe you do it this game. Maybe you play standard this game, throw it in later in the
I would push against the idea of wanting to see the same build again 3 games in a row, just because the map itself doesn't. The map itself is working against Solar if he does go for the all-in. So I would say it's wiser to go for some more mid-game play instead. And there are some mid-game all-ins you can go for off of 3-base saturation, off of 66, if not up to 70 drones. And I do expect to see hyper aggression of Solar, but in the mid-game instead. Off of like a 3-base saturation.
Cybernetics Corp finishing now for Classic, so we'll see what the tech is going to be. Likely will be another Stargate in the main base, although we haven't seen a Glaives build yet, so it is a possibility. Will in fact be the Stargate once more, so
you can still go Glaives after the Stargate, bear that in mind.
Classic, maybe even
so technically it could still be Glaives.
Yeah, looking very similar here in the early game. Chroning out that Adept, get it across the map as fast as possible. This Probe, trying to deny the 3rd base of the Zerg for as long as possible. No drone coming over just yet. We'll have to run away so he doesn't die to this Ling. And yeah, we have a Stalker as the follow-up unit, and the Stargate will be finishing soon.
Yeah, Solar just continuing the macro up right now. End up getting it to the Zerg side of the map. We'll see if Classic is able to find any damage.
From here, we're opening up. So far, standard opener Stargate's on the way. From here, we're going to be waiting to see if it's going to be an Oracle or a Void Ray. Now we have confirmation it's going to be an Oracle first to get across the map to scout, to get some economic damage, and to confirm that Solar's actually going to drone.
This time, he knows the Overlord is there. He has his Stalker here. So once the Oracle is finished, that will give him the high ground vision he needs to take that out.
Yeah, Adept just continuing to scout, seeing exactly what Solar's drone count is at. I don't think Solar's gone for any sort of aggressive push this early on, so not too much information that Classic can glean from these shades, but you might as well get the value, right?
Absolutely, it's a free scout, right? Why not?
Well, it's scouting. It's also keeping Solar busy back at home so that Classic can freely move out and expand and claim his third, which should be happening momentarily.
Possible about it though. Try and send it back and forth across this wall, and we haven't seen a Roach Warren yet. So I'm thinking this will not be one of these super early Roach builds.
Oh, well-positioned probe right there, actually getting body blocked. Or the Adept, I should say, was body blocking for the probe. Not allowing...
If you recall, the Roach Warren was at 4 minutes, but yes, as they're kind of mentioning here, we've now reached the 4-minute mark. There is no Roach Warren, so we're not going for the same build. This time we're actually droning up.
Roach Warren thrown down very soon. If not, I think we are going to have a more macro game, but it's right around this time that you would be seeing the production, the military production, really ramp up for Solar if he wanted to get aggressive. Instead, it seems like, no, there will be a 4th hatchery coming through.
Yeah, taking that 4th base, we'll probably get the Roach Warren around 440 or so if he is going to play with that.
Early Twilight Council.
His layer, add on these extra gases, get up into that layer tech.
It's looking like a late Forge.
Not much damage done by the Oracles so far this game.
Not too late, actually, if you look at
They're
it.
going to shade into this 3rd base, and there's nothing
he
here
gets
right now
in.
except one Queen.
Where are the Lings?
Fall immediately.
Where are the
They will
Lings?
be able to shade to another base if they want to.
Yeah, Deb's doubling back right now, able to pick off a couple more drones, and this is going to create an opening right now for the Oracles. They're coming in, focus firing down the Queen at first.
Yeah, it looked good for a second there, but suddenly these Adepts are kind of caught on creep.
It's still good.
If the Lings get us around, a few of them may fall.
5
the
drones.
Oracles not able to do too much as the Queens are here as well.
I feel like the Oracle's got a good amount done, though. They help the Adepts at least trade more effectively with the Zerglings. In total, it's going to be 4 Adepts for, what, 5 drones and 14 Lings? I think it's a good trade right now here for Classic, especially because that was a big flood of Lings that Solar had to make to actually defend that build effectively. And
have some confidence, Pappy. It was a good trade. It was a good trade for Classic. With that, he's going into his Blink and +1 timing. Again, this is slightly earlier Blink than usual, slightly.
Game 2 where the Oracles are running out of energy and he really needs them to anchor a defense.
Getting up to 6 gateways.
A nice safe play coming in from Classic, and it looks like we're going into a +1 Blink mid game.
Yeah, indeed. Blink on the way, another Oracle in production here. Hydralisk then going down as well as the Evo Chamber, so this is not the super fast +1 melee builds that we see out of Zergs.
Sure.
He's going to be going for this slightly quicker layer, slightly faster Hydras.
Sturgeon, he knows his Zerg.
See if it's going to be the melee upgrade.
Should be.
He's droning very hard right
range,
now. Picks
right?
off 1 probe there as it transfers over to the 3rd base. Very
Into a Hydra heavy style.
Production right now. Solar has the 3 base economy. Going to be looking to deal with this stalker pressure of Classic as it moves across the map.
There's range. The reason why we assumed it was range into a Hydra heavy style is because the Evo Chamber is late. So late Evo Chamber out of Solar leads into some more Hydra heavy composition. Once again, I'm not convinced that Solar's not going to cut workers soon, so we'll keep an eye on the drone counts.
The Stalker's already going to stymie one expansion coming in from Solar, not able to establish that hatchery at the 3 o'clock position. And until these Hydras are done, it seems like there isn't too much of an answer here for these Stalkers. Of course, with Blink, with Stasis Wards, and the Oracle support, Zerglings alone not going to be able to cut it.
Yeah, Solar needs to buy some time here to get these Hydralisks out.
Nice
you know
trades.
there's going to be a stasis trap down that ramp. He actually tried to set it off with that one flanking Ling. Nice maneuver, but he's not able to trigger the trap.
Again, this is just really nice pressure that Classic can apply because he got Blink so early.
Frozen. And Solar's Classic's taking some very good trades here. Not really losing anything right now.
Yeah, not even really losing whole HP. Only 1 Stalker taking a little bit of HP damage. It's mostly just shields getting traded out. And Solar, he recognizes there's no more stasis traps, so he's actually able to get the jump on it. Zerglings continuing to close the distance. 1 Stalker's going to fall. That will be all Solar gets, though.
Yeah, and on the
Ooh, do you see what I see? Solar's cutting workers. If you remember, this is why I said that I'm not convinced that Solar's not going for an all-in. Solar's cutting workers at 73. He's getting up to 3.5 base saturation. We have Overlord speed on the way for Drop Lord play, and Solar's going to commit. So he's going for a big 3 base all-in, which is more what we expected out of Solar. I'm missing you today.
But of a painful moment. Oracle and a
So Solar, he's not joining, he's not taking.
Zerglings, oh, they really wanted to get
And we'll see if he can pull this off.
Go for it too.
Oh, going for the Templar. He gets one.
That would be a win.
No, he
that
doesn't.
Templar.
Oh my god.
Just barely survived.
If they didn't have the water balloons, that Templar might have gone down.
Yeah, I feel like the Stalkers have kind of played their part here. Might be time to go.
But again, as you can see, Solar has not made a drone in minutes, or in like a minute or so. So no drones, no saturation, Solar's all in. Big 3-base all in here from Solar. And he can morph in Drop Lords.
We have a ton
Here they come.
of drop overlords being made right now. Stay down here below the natural of Classic.
Yeah, Solar is really going to be committing to this timing attack. Wants to get some damage done. And this is just going to be with pure Hydra Lings.
Keep doing
I'm
that.
a little bit concerned right now.
Ah, it's a big timing attack, Pappy. True, true.
And these are +1 Zealots. They're going to 2-shot all the Lings.
Shaking
and we
my
have
head.
Storms on top of that to deal with the Lings and the Hydralisk. So
Again, this has to do crippling damage. If it doesn't, then Solar he'll fall far behind. That's why it's called an all-in.
To mitigate
So far, splitting up the army.
AoE damage
Here comes the
with
drop.
Storms.
He gets
so we
in.
have a drop now coming into the natural expansion while Solar is simultaneously attacking the 4th base at 12 o'clock. He needs to split up the Protoss army.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job so far. All these probes running around, still hitting this 4th base. Nice Storm goes down on these high.
Yeah, nice Storm. Workers are going down in the main.
Damage. Solo working around that.
Going for the
So
Templar
many Zerg
Archives.
units
Very
in the main.
nice.
The Templar Archives go down.
the Oracle.
No more HDs can be warped in here. All these Storms go down on the Zerg units, but the 4th base, there's actually a very nice stasis ward here, but I don't think there's enough Protoss units to hold that base anymore.
Yeah, Solar is just everywhere right now. Classic's army is finally here in the main base to clean this up. Hydras will
Yeah, so he's breaking the 4th. The 4th base is being broken. Classic likewise. He lost his Templar Archives. That means he cannot warp in High Templar. That means he has 0 storms. Right? There's 0 storms left. Solar, he's breaking through. He's pushing into the 3rd. And Solar, he might. I mean, he's committing. He's still just rallying. He's still just rallying across the map. He has not made a drone in like 3-4 minutes.
Is able to make the battle so scrappy that he can pull out the 4th base, take out the Templar Archives, and now Classic's going to try and get some jabs into his zone.
I love what Solo did, though. He sent all those drop overlords through the main to the 4th base of the Protoss.
He gets in again.
Picked up the army that was there and sent them back into the main. Absolute genius move.
And we're not getting a game. We're not getting a game 4. We're not.
as well as the infestation.
The all-in has broken. Classic behind this. Solar is far enough ahead. He's like, you know what? Now I'm finally going to make a drone. I'm finally going to make a drone. Infestation bit, Lurker Den, Hive. Like, Solar's now taking up. He doesn't need to, but he is.
Classic just cannot get a handle on the defense. The main Nexus going down. There's one Hydralisk drop to the natural expansion of Classic 2.
Oh, he's dancing.
Dude, I thought he was dancing his units there.
He was.
Yeah, there's just so much Zerg here. Classic forced to GG out, and Solar takes a quick 3-0 over Classic like that.
That was such an impressive win by Solar. And map number 1 and map number 2, just being able to pull the trigger and go for the throat with the Roach Ravager Queen Walk. And then in game number 3, playing a very different style of Zerg. And one that I feel like we don't see very often. If you're going to see Hydra Ling, it's almost always with Banelings.
Right.
And usually, I mean, in most situations, you're going to try and go where you're attacking like the natural expansion and the 4th base at the same time. But it's more focused on one engagement, winning the main battle. But the way that Solar approached that, dropping in the natural expansion, dropping in the main base multiple times, hitting the 4th and 3rd base simultaneously. Classic, he had all of the answers. He had Storm, he had Zealots that can 2-shot the Zerglings, and a ton of Zealots. He had Archons, he had Stalkers. His army was better, but Solar just positioned everything so perfectly that Classic couldn't take the winning fights.
I would push back pretty hard against what Stage just said. This build that Solar went for is very common. He's like, oh, we rarely get to see it. I mean, that's not true. Plays like SHIN, plays like Solar, plays like Rogue. It's very common amongst the Korean Zerg players. That's why at the very beginning of this game, we assumed it was going to be a big 3-base all-in of around 70 workers. It's very rare to see Korean players get into the mid to late game and play into like lurker-heavy styles. Like this Hydra aggression is very common, especially if you see games on like Celestial Enclave. Like you go for the same thing on Celestial, on not Winter Madness, on like Title Citadel, like sitting up your drop lords and dropping into the bases. Solar's very fond of this style. So I don't imagine that Classic was surprised by Solar going for this, but of course Classic did not see the all-in coming. That's what's important about the build that we just saw, is that Classic didn't see lack of saturation, he didn't see the move out either, so Classic was woefully underprepared. Even though he was, as he was getting his 4th base, this is also where the map comes into play, and that's, I think, a more important thing to bring up is missing today. If you remember at the very beginning of the game, we spoke about how specifically on this map, the bases are very spread out. They're very spread out. So trying to defend your main base, your third, your fourth base, you are very, very spread thin, and it's hard to rotate if you're out of position. It's very, very difficult to rotate because you have so much distance to travel, and that's where an all-in like this can really excel to abuse the fact that the Protoss army, it takes a while to go back and forth, to go back into the main base, to go back into the fourth as well. Which the Classic was out of position multiple times. GG. GG all played. With that, Solars claim the series, and Solar who will advance on into the next round. For now, we're going to be cutting to a short break as we do look at Tasteless and Ziggy paint Zero Tool. Do love to see it. And up next, we'll be back with what series with herO versus SHIN. Now, this should be a very different kind of matchup. SHIN, he's also hyper aggressive like Solar. That's why we brought SHIN's name up earlier. We should be seeing a lot of aggression out of SHIN, but he's a very different kind of player. He's very fond of going for proxy hatcheries. He's very fond of going for like 2-base play or even earlier Roach Warrens. We'll keep an eye on SHIN. SHIN is typically a lot more diverse than Solar. That's what makes it interesting. But also on the flip side, herO is also a lot more diverse than Classic. Classic, he was the reactive player in that last series. Classic, he was playing very safe, very standard, very reactive at times, and struggling to react and struggling to respond. Meanwhile, herO, typically, herO's best defense is a good offense, where herO, he himself likes being aggressive and likes going all in and tries to force a Zerg player to respond to him instead. So herO versus SHIN is going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. We'll see. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break, and shout out to both Sturgeon and Tasteless, or Sturgeon really for painting and Tasteless for looking at him. We'll see you soon. See you soon.
Okay, we're back. I'm checking in on Ziggy's progress again. How are we doing?
We're doing great. I think it's come along better than I thought it would. I don't know what you think, but I'm kind of proud of this.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I love what you did with the lighting here on the cape and everything. I think you did an incredible job. We're near completion here. Also, Archon Studios sent us some miniatures of their own they painted. If you want to see what their models look like, take a look. Hey guys, Tasteless here. I wanted to show you our Terran set for the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. You can see we've got all the pieces assembled here. It comes with 12 Marines, 3 Medics, 2 Marauders, 1 Sentry Drone, and then the final piece is Jim Raynor here. Each Marine in the set has a unique loadout. Over here, you have the Raynor's Raiders version of the Marines. Each one with a rifle and a bayonet attached. But honestly, these look incredible. The amount of detail is insane. Like we've said before, these look exactly like what you see in the cinematics for StarCraft 2. Now it's important to remember, as amazing as this looks, this is more than just a bunch of cool figurines. This is actually a game. Each figurine comes with a corresponding card. So this is Jim Raynor, and you can see on the card his different attributes listed, what he's able to do, and this is what you'd be using when you're actually playing against your friends. So just like in the game, you're able to get different upgrades for each of the units. So for the Marine, if you flip the card around, you can see you can go for combat shields, grenades, or other various upgrades, which are going to change the whole experience of what you're having when you're playing the game. When a game starts, you get minerals and Vespian gas. The units cost minerals, the tactical cards cost Vespian gas. Take a tactical card, flip it over, you'll see exactly what abilities that tactical card gives you. In order to get started, go to the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. There you can find the game rules, but also the army builder. From there, you pick a faction, how many minerals and Vespian gas you get. You spend those minerals and Vespian gas to unlock units and tactical cards. And from there, you're ready to go. For more information, sign up for the newsletter on Archon Studios' StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. Check it out.
Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready to jump into our second best of 5.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the RSL The Rival StarCraft League Season 5 Playoffs Day Number 1 co-stream. Something that I'm concerned by, actually. So for those that are curious, you know, we're jumping into our fresh series, our fresh best of 5. Usually, whenever we get a fresh series, we rotate casters. Where's Gemini? Where's Tasteless? We might just have a full night of just purely Sturgeon and State. That might be the case here, where they stay on for the entire broadcast. We'll see. We'll see. As by now, there should have been a rotation. Just something that I did notice. Regardless, we're getting to our fresh series. It's going to be another PvZ, but a very different kind of PvZ. herO versus SHIN. Now, Solar, he did nothing but all-in against Classic. 2 base all-ins and 3 base all-ins. That's it. Just pure all-ins. Hyper short series in that first best of 5. We expect aggression and all-ins to be prevalent here as well, but a different dynamic. As I mentioned previously, and as we mentioned it getting into our fresh series here, in the last series Classic, he was the defender and he was trying to react. He was trying to react and respond to his opponent as best as he could, scouting and warping in units and getting his defenses up and running and trying to keep up with the army rotations of Solar. Meanwhile, here, herO, his mantra when it comes to defensive play is typically being hyper-aggressive and being in your face and forcing your opponent to respond to you instead. So we should be seeing something a little bit more chaotic as well, and not just that, but also mind games. If you are maybe newer to StarCraft, you might not know this, but herO and SHIN, they're good friends. They're very good friends, and they're ex-teammates as well. And oh, are we not getting the vetoes? Wait, what? we're just jumping in. What the hell?
From patches because they were the most aggressive, but these days in ZVP, it feels like you got to be a lot more aggressive.
Do we have cams?
To get damage done.
What?
Do we? All the Zergs are throwing in some kind of all-ins in their series these days.
Okay.
At least 1 or 2 aggressive builds.
We're just jumping in. There was no like introduction to the players or like vetoes or anything. Okay, sure.
Zerg's playing a lot more aggressive. The map here will be Exarch, and this time we have cross spawns.
Yeah, cross spawns on Exarch. It's going to be tough to get aggressive early on this one unless you're Protoss and you have the advantage of Warp Gate, right? Yeah, it's a very.
I would say that.
The distance between the natural expansion of both of these players.
Fun fact: this is something that I've noticed as well. Is this a replay cast? Is this broadcast clashing with like the Wardy tournament or something? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, speed zones. We have speed zones and slow zones in the center, thankfully, so it looks like this is the updated version. Sorry, I'm just checking TL.
Of course, with the watchtower in the middle here.
No, there's nothing else scheduled tonight. Okay.
Yeah,
Curious.
Also, on the perimeter of the map, you see on every single edge, there's also some speed zones to make
a
little bit quicker.
The reason why I bring this up, often if they don't show the vetoes, and I don't know if you notice this, but they still don't have player cams, this might be a replay cast, which happens from time to time. They don't often disclose whenever that happens, but that might be the reasoning as to why they didn't show vetoes and why they're not showing cams. Is this might be a replay broadcast. But we'll see. Like maybe they show cams a little bit later. But usually that's what that means.
Something like what we saw between Classic and Solar, where Solar expanded unknowingly towards the Protoss base and capitalized on that by playing a very aggressive build with the Queen Walk. On this map, the distances now, with a cross spawn, they're just too great. And so we're likely to get a much more drawn-out, epic macro game than we are to get something super flashy like that.
I totally agree with you. And I think herO is the kind of player who would just refuse to lose to 3 all-ins without trying something crazy of his own. But right now, we have a lot of link speed made here, as well as the link speed on the way. He's just on 21 drones right now, getting ready for these adepts with the links. Goes back into drones now, taking that worker path down here to the third base.
Can we get a shot of herO's natural expansion? Because I think he might have fully walled in his natural. I think that is a... I believe that's a 100% wall-in. I don't think you can get units in or out of the main base, which is pretty smart. If you're just going to be expanding to either the third base locations, you mine that out, and then you only have one end.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing about seeing more games on Exarch and seeing more games on these TLMC maps is that these maps are often vetoed in best of 3s, so we get to experience some of these maps a little bit more in-depth, more so than we otherwise would, of course. For now, again, cross spawns, we do get our third base on the right-hand side for SHIN, Void Ray opener out of herO. Very interesting.
Right now.
And then you can break the rocks later on to get out, right? If you have big units in the natural there.
I think you would just mine out the minerals. I don't see any reason why you would break down the debris here at the natural expansion. I mean, maybe if you're expanding towards the middle, but even then, I feel like it's always better to just have one clear pathway through your main base into the center of the map, right?
Yeah, there's also those minerals leading to the 4th base just above herO's main. So I guess if you mine out both those patches, yeah, you're right. There's really no need to take down the rocks of the natural at all.
Kind of.
Just open up another venue of attack for the Zerg, right?
Well, here's going to go for a very aggressively timed.
So the issue with not opening up the center does mean that SHIN is going to be able to like chip away at the wall and nibble away at the wall when it comes to the mid game, and hero's going to have a harder time rotating to defend it. That's a possibility when it comes to that cyber core. For now though, we're going to be opening up. Again, welcome to Exarch. Exarch is a 4-player spawn map. It has a reverse natural, so the wall off is going to be more exposed than usual, and that is an early Evo chamber +1 melee from SHIN. SHIN is playing Ling Hydra.
Coming out of SHIN, making a lot of Lings right now. Going to be trying to move these across the map, see if he can pick off any units. And he's got his Spore Crawlers decently timed here as well. They will be ready for the first Oracle as it flies.
We're playing against True. We have player cams.
Obviously a bit later because he went for the Void Ray first, so not expecting.
So this is where I have to say, if we have player cams, why didn't we see the Vetoes? That's my question to the production. Ziggy? Yeah. I know you're listening. Esther Ziggy.
On a map as large as this one. Oh,
share map.
Already some Zerglings getting some pressure done too.
Yeah, he's made a lot more Lings than usual. Going to use that to take out this pylon, get the Adept. Will be forced to run home as the Oracle turns on its beam though. But he is droning behind this. This is not all or anything. This is some
meanwhile, we do have a standard timing here with our Twilight Council Forge +1 and Blink. Everything's looking pretty standard, pretty tame coming into the mid game.
If herO were to expand to the top right side of where he's currently set up, it's hard to describe the expansion patterns on this one because even if you go by like I know it's not, none of the bases at the north side are at 12 o'clock, but it's like, what would you say, like it's like 12:30, it's like 1, it's like it's such a large map that everything just kind of gets congested there at the edges. But if herO expands on this pathway here towards this side, I feel like he could be really well set up for a macro game if he wants to go that way. I mean, this is such an easy base to take. You just get a little bit of static defense at your 3rd base, get a little bit of static defense at the 4th base, and you have the 1 rally point from the natural expansion for any robotics units or Stargate units.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So what State is getting at is it's by design. By design, your initial 4 bases are very secure. Your 4 bases are very secure. Your 5th and 6th base, that is going to be difficult to maintain on Exarch because the corners of the map are so isolated from each other. Before that happens, we get a surround. The Lings
might have to fight here. The shield battery finishes just in time.
catching a Stalker.
Oh
no! Oh, it's down. There's a hole in the wall.
Oh, you're kidding me.
herO.
The Adept was not positioned.
herO.
Even when you give him the free wall of the natural, he finds a way to let these Lings in.
I mean,
like
I feel like
this.
herO's blameless
He's
on this
fine.
one, though. We got to zoom in there of the Zerglings. It's kind of unintuitive when, like, the hitbox, or the collision box, I should say, with, like, the Adept body.
Meanwhile, big shout out to Luis GGG. God, my God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great time. If you have any needles.
Their way through.
Kind of big.
Yeah, maybe. I guess you just throw down like a pylon or something and make it a more reasonable block with a mineral wall. But
The map is open to anything. Kind of.
Too much there, and that was a lot of Lings.
it was good for him, actually.
So if you were here for our TLMC judging stream, you'll know that that was a criticism that we had about the center of the map, but that is one of the reasons why all the speed and slow zones were added to give players incentive to push through the center. Otherwise, it would only ever maneuver through the edges of the map instead. So that is something that was added and changed, provided from our feedback. So big shout out to Avex, of course, for making the map, for updating, of course, for receiving feedback, and of course, voting will soon be open for the TLMC map pool.
I think he's expecting mutas, but it's actually a Hydralisk transition coming in here for SHIN. So the one Phoenix might not be able to get too much done. Maybe will be best served by him patrolling, just using it to scout.
So hero's trying to turtle up into Skytoss. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacons on the way. Hero has yet to get a 4th though, and so far SHIN is doing a great job at being active to make sure there is no 4th base.
That's just to go for Phoenix range if it weren't mutas, or if he's going to be looking to make an air transition slightly quicker. I feel like it's the former, but we'll have to see. One Adept here going to get picked off by
It is the air
these Lings.
transition.
Still running around.
Otherwise, you'd have Phoenixes on the way.
On the map, actually.
Designing the 4th. He blinks in.
These rocks.
Oh no, that's not a very good blink right now for
No,
herO.
no,
It's
he
still
gets
on
punished.
cooldown. A couple
Oof.
seconds left. SHIN, just with the magic positioning there, had all of his Hydralisks at the 4th base. And herO blinked in thinking he was going to catch SHIN by surprise. Instead, loses a ton of stalkers.
And here we go. Nidus Storm is on the way. SHIN is cutting workers at 72. Do you notice something? 72 workers, that is just over 3 base saturation. SHIN is going to double down. He's not taking into lurkers, not taking into hive tech. It's pure Ling Hydra out of SHIN. This is very similar to what we saw out of Solar, except Solo went for Dropper Lords. SHIN is going for Nidus.
Attack, but here come the Zealots to help out.
I see the Overlord on the mini-map right now.
So again, the 3-base ult that we saw from Solar in Game 3 against Classic is the same equivalent variation here from SHIN, except slightly different with Nidus play.
In the main base, but this map is so large, I wouldn't even mind him just dropping a Nidus here on the front door to try and make the reinforcements a little bit quicker.
So again, SHIN is all in. Remember, herO's trying to take up. He invests into a second Stargate, into a Fleet Beacon, into tech that is not going to help in the defense.
And herO's out on the map for some reason.
herO knows he's moving units to the main base right now to try and deal with this while sending a ton of Zealots to SHIN's side. And so he will be able to deal with the Nidus network. Only a couple of Lings getting out right now. Instead, the defense is going to be all about the natural expansion and the
And we spoke about it, right? Because of the full wall of like as a herO, he cannot defend the natural, he cannot defend the wall. SHIN, he does bust in.
Getting in here. Storm's landing on a lot of Zerg units right now.
We get some okay Storms, but there's just too much Zerg.
More. The High Templars going to be
miscontrol.
forced to morph into Archons here as all these Stalkers are going down. But those Zealots are doing work across the map. 10 drones fall already. There's absolute chaos right now.
Yeah, a lot of damage being done on both sides.
17 drone kills
by SHIN at the 4th base. herO still trying to stabilize the main base. Actually,
Oh, the
SHIN
Templar
getting a
Archives!
snipe on
He
the
gets
Templar
it!
Archives.
Oh my
So no
God.
more Templar, no more Archons can be warped in here for herO.
And
It's
he gets the
mostly these
natural.
Zealots on the reinforcements.
Yeah, herO knocked down to 2 bases right now, so even though the worker count is equal, SHIN should be out mining him here shortly. But he's going to lose a bunch of these Hydras on the retreat. Nice pickoffs by herO. And I like that choice to send the Zealots. At first I was like, oh, you need everything at home to defend.
Oh no, the Nidus network got set up in the main base. herO did not expect
Oh, there's a little bit of latency
this
here.
one, but I think that the army for SHIN is thinned out enough that he can't really capitalize on this.
Yeah, he's forced to return into that.
So as they were touching, I mean, the Zealot run by is saving herO in this game. If it wasn't for the Zealot counterattack, then herO would be dead in the water. So again, was able to get down, what, 17 plus drone kills, so very nice damage across the map. herO is still in this game. Still in this.
If there's a Nidus network in the main base, and Zerg has that much time, every army unit that they have is going
As I say that, though, the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for SHIN. Bear that in mind.
Exactly where where SHIN's army is at. And herO should know that in a head-on engagement, his army just straight up wins.
Right.
So right now, he's going to be waiting for Templar Archives to get up. I feel like you get to the first round of Templar Warpin, maybe you turn some into Archons, energy recharge the other ones, and you move across the map. You have a very clear window as herO to try and get some damage done.
Yeah, there are some Zerg units hanging out down here, trying to take out these rocks.
So, Stay, what he's alluding to is what we mentioned, how right now SHIN is ahead. And the longer this game goes on, the better it is for SHIN. herO, there needs to be some urgency here for herO to push with +3, right? Templar Archives has been rebuilt. +3 is a couple of seconds away. herO needs to push soon, otherwise that window will close, and then SHIN will be able to max out.
Yeah, units coming out for herO, right? He's getting these Tempests, he had this Mothership. But I also feel like it's difficult to push across the map with these units.
Yeah, I feel like if you move across the map, you don't really get that many chances to go back home and defend. Maybe just a recall only, as SHIN is continuing to work on the rocks here. 6 o'clock position.
And you can see that SHIN, despite all that economic damage, he's not droned. Like, he's still at 68 workers. That's still a very low drone count. SHIN is basically just gearing up to the second wave, the second all-in after the first.
Attack here, hitting this.
There's too many cannons.
Too many cannons. Very fast pull on the probes as well. Good reflexes there by herO. Saves his workers mostly, only 5 going
SHIN's
down.
pushing into natural again.
And here comes the rest of the Zerg.
It's a lot of storms.
You do not want to run through that storm.
It's like something you'd see in like a tower defense game. It's
when
the
you're level 100.
It's the perfect choke
And
point.
as soon as that's revealed, now SHIN starts droning. And because this is so late, I mean, herO, he has a chance. Still has a chance.
No, I don't want to push up into that.
Is he distracted?
He's thinking about
The
it. But with
Banelings.
these storms,
He
he
gets
doesn't want
in.
to. Does create diversion for these Banelings to go in, though. 8 more workers fall. herO's down to 49 probes right now versus the 78 of SHIN. He's adding his Spire here. He's getting his Infestation Pit. Eventually, he can make Corruptors to deal with the air units if he wants to. And going to go for Overlord speed as well.
Oof.
Shin just continuing to poke and prod.
Now, once again, Shin, his goal here is not to break through. If he sees an opening, he will, but Storms, they just keep on storming about. Bailing run by into the base once again. Not bad connections, 9 more probe kills.
Rinse and repeat here. He keeps sending these Bailings in, right?
Well, the thing is that
they get damage.
I know he's making more probes right now, and he's on 47, but 47 I think is enough to fully saturate everything that he's got. The main and the natural expansion are mostly mined out. herO, he's bottlenecked on bases. It's not really the workers that are the limiting factor right now for him.
Indeed, he is going to move out into the middle of the map right now.
I mean, Stay says that, but hero's replacing those workers. Like, he's still spending resources on that.
Templar! Shin's going
And
to
he
try
wants
to
a
get on top of this,
Templar.
so a ton of storms are going to rain down. And Shin has to go away. What a bizarre-looking Protoss army. I think we have more Templar than Zealots here on the front line.
Templar.
It looks
crazy.
so fragile, but it's difficult to attack through those storms.
There's just so much energy, right?
Right, he's been banking up so much energy. A lot of storms.
Shinny's got a flank.
I think that's the the mothership is online. Here come these Tempests now, and we only have 5 Corruptors out at the
Army's
moment.
moving in. We have to set up the surround.
Is that enough
Can
to
he
take
do
all
it?
these air units? I'm not sure.
It's all going to come down to the storms right now. herO has to make every single
there's just so
storm
many
count.
storms,
Come
though.
in, prevent these Corruptors from getting the Dream engagement. Although it seems like some of the Templates are nowhere to be found right now. 3 of them under the mothership, more reinforcing.
Max control with the Templar. They pull
And now
away.
Shin, he's going to move in once more.
Shin,
But
he might not be able to do
kind of
this.
makes its own choke points here with the Vespian Geysers. It's very tough
The
for Shin to find the right
storms, he's
angle.
got
The
so
Hydras are
many.
just getting vaporized.
There's high Templar remaining, and apparently that's all you need here with the air units. The Zerg units just can't engage on all these.
Yeah, here's done it. Here's done it. Oh, he commits. He gets the Templar.
All forced to morph. Look how many storms are on the screen right now, State. This is absolutely insane.
That was so much energy spent
GG,
on Storm,
GG.
and at the end of it, there just is not enough anti-air for Shin to clean it up. What a bizarre end to that game.
How did herO win that game?
That was one of the funniest looking Protoss armies I think I've ever seen. We had, when he was pushing across the map, there were more Templar. And more
GG.
Tempests
GG,
than
well
Zealots.
played. Here he does break through. As you mentioned, here there was a lot of urgency on herO to push across the map. He had to push. If he tried to macro out of it, then he'd be dead in the water. He was down to 47 workers. He was still stuck on 3 bases. herO had no 4th base, but he was preserving all those Templar. He was preserving the Templar, preserving all of that storm as well. He just went for one big A move across the map. And as we tried to mention, Shin had to try to surround. The only way to engage with that army is to come in from behind, but he never did. I was a little bit surprised. The observer didn't look at it, but if you noticed, the mineral patches on the top side were not mined out, so Shin had a lot of limiting factors when it came to trying to maneuver between even his own bases to set up for a flank. So Shin, he had no flank set up. Likewise, Shin also, I mean, it took him a long time to actually decide to tech up and drone up as well. That's also true, where he was stuck on 68 workers for a very long time as well. So Shin wanted to try to end the game earlier, failed to do so, and again, couldn't quite flank the army either, couldn't collapse in from behind. GG. GG, well played. herO takes game number 1. But what a fun game, nonetheless. Again, so far, Exarch has been exciting. Exciting.
You know, the Protoss isn't looking as the base race is going on. Because there were just so many high Templar there, protected by the air units, the mothership. And you want to get your Hydras, you know, killing the air units, right? And your Corruptors as well. But so many zone-in storms, it's just very hard to engage onto. Maybe some of the forces counterattacking, some of them holding the line. Could have worked out better, but herO picked his moment perfectly there.
Rorschach
It was a
again.
very wonky army and an interesting timing on that move out, but herO knows how to win these games.
The hell with the
And
vetoes?
things get a bit weird.
Yeah, game 2 loading up now here on Rorschach. herO spawning the bottom right, Shin in the bottom left. You know, I think back to the Storm change in the most recent patch in StarCraft 2, where Storm, it now does lower DPS, but more damage in total because the duration has been increased. And it actually makes a composition like that one a lot more viable. Because if this was the old Storm...
Okay, here we go. Welcome on to Rorschach. Once again, Rorschach is a smaller map, but shorter rush distance by ground. Because of that, we expect all-ins. If you remember, Solar went for a 2-base all-in on Rorschach previously in the broadcast, and we're expecting hyper-aggression here as well. Now, Shin did go for a 3-base all-in on Exarch earlier because the cross spawns. Here on Rorschach, we're expecting 2-base play, right? 2-base play would make the most sense from both players.
Better
In terms of like 2-base aggression, 2-base tech, we'll see.
It is so much more effective than it ever was before.
Yeah, the Tempests were kind of uncontested, but they take a long time to kill a lot of stuff, and the Storms actually buy you that time, so they kind of synergized very well there. It was a wonky comp, but herO made it work really well.
Yeah, we're not going to get another game that looks like that today, I think. Certainly not between herO and Shin. So we move on to Rorschach. This was the map where Solar versus Classic earlier on today went for a really aggressive build. He took the forward third expansion here as Zerg pulled the Queens, pushed with Roaches, Ravagers, and reinforcing Lings. And Rorschach feels like one of the best maps to play that style on.
Fond of 2-base lays. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of 2-base all-ins already, so I would hope for some variety, but at the same time, 2-base all-ins are just stronger here on Rorschach, so we'll see if Shin does drone up. What we're really going to be looking for here is whether it's going to be Roach-Warren first or Evo Chamber first. That'll give us a sign as to how deep we're going in and how tech-heavy we're going to be.
Uh-oh.
The condition. This
There we
comes.
go.
That's
Buddy
his boss.
system.
That's his boss.
That's
To get back to work.
All right, herO going for the Stargate here in game number 2. Similar openings to what we had in game number 1.
Yeah, I'm curious if he'll add that Void Ray in first, or if he'll go back into an Oracle play. As the Adepts being chronoed out here to be sent across the map.
I think it's likely to be an Oracle. Thinking back to map number 1 on Exarch, I think just because of the size of the map, the window for an Oracle to actually get economic damage done is probably very small. You're more likely to find damage once you pair it up with one more Oracle and you actually two-shot drones that are either transferring to its bases or perhaps mining gas, perhaps just at the edge of range of a Spore Crawler. And so to go for a Void Ray first and just be like, oh, well, this is constant damage as opposed to the energy-based damage of the Oracle I can use this to safely establish a third base. I think it's a smart adjustment, but yeah, here on Rorschach, it will in fact be the Oracle coming in for herO. Is Shin able to pick up at least one probe kill?
Not bad.
Yeah, you called it. Oracle is on the way. These two lanes
In regards to the analysis on Exarch about the Void Ray, that might be a part of it. I mean, bearing in mind that you could also make the argument that because it's a 4-player small map, you do want the Oracle faster to be able to get faster scouting. Otherwise, there's a high chance you don't know what's going on, especially if you scout your opponent very late. So there's rationale for like kind of both options and both openers.
Shin's just continuing to drone up. He's not going for the aggressive expansion, the one that we see here that the Oracle is flying by. Instead, he's expanding linearly across the left side of the map. So that makes me think that it's not going to be one of these early pushes that we saw from Solar earlier on today.
The healing pad.
Likely to be a bit more of a macro-focused style.
We're reaching the 4-minute mark. No early Roach-Warren. As they're alluding to as well, Shin is expanding away, not towards herO. So it's a much more defensive opener so far, based on the expansion location.
Oracle flying around, making sure there's no units of the Zerg healing up here. Join up with his buddy. And third base on the way here for herO. Going into the Twilight Council.
That's an early council. That's a gateway explosion. Glaives.
That's what we've come to expect.
It's looking like Glaive Adepts.
Why can't you be normal? All right.
That's 4 gateways.
Gemini is probably,
Oh,
hang on a minute.
Ooh, gets a queen. Oh, no!
Trading out for an Oracle, though, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, the Oracle actually goes down there. 3 drones.
Yeah, it's brutal losing an Oracle this early on.
Have such utility throughout the
Meanwhile,
whole game.
show us, is it Blink or Glaives? It's one or the other.
Revelations and scouting later on if there's lurkers or something
Most
like
likely
that.
Glaives. There it is. Glaives are on the way.
Glaives here.
Yeah, Glaives build coming in from herO with a fast forge too. Usually you don't see these two structures paired up together, I feel like, because Glaives, they don't really care about +1 ground weapons. They're going to be two-shotting most targets regardless, the Zerglings and the drones.
I don't know why they were so surprised it was Glaives, for sure. But I do agree with State. Like, State saying that the forge is abnormal, that is true. Like, you often do not get forge alongside Glaives. It might be a fake out.
I guess they're both countered by Bailings. It wouldn't make too much sense.
Yeah, interesting choice here.
And when I say fake out, I mean that if the Overlord goes in, if the Overlord sees the Forge, then Shin doesn't think it's Glaive Adepts, and then he doesn't get a Baneling Nest or a Roach-Warren. Right now, it's purely Ling Queen defense, so Shin is very vulnerable to Adepts.
His own Evo chamber right now. Layer about halfway done.
Very vulnerable.
And there's actually some Lings over here at the third base. There's a couple of Adepts here behind the minerals.
That's a standard amount of Adepts.
Nice choke there. Is that enough to think it's a Glaive build if you see 4 Adepts? Probably not. You probably need to see a couple more, but...
I feel like it is. You know, you have the first couple of Adepts to get map presence, to get a little scouting damage done, or scouting done.
Baneling Nest is on the way. Here comes herO. Here he comes. 15.
Base, it's like, okay, you've been making more Adepts. Something is certainly coming. So Shin knows this is
walling
on
up.
the way. Wallen with Evolution Chambers.
Fully walls just in time.
And herO's just going to pounce right on top of this.
And remember, there's one less Oracle.
Deal with this right now. The Zerglings have
He's
already
breaking through.
dissipated. Now
The
it's
Queens.
Adepts
He
versus
wants
Queens.
them.
There's nearly
He gets
enough
one.
for them to two-shot these Queens right now as more
Oh my
reinforcing
God.
Lings are going to come through.
Oof.
Shin is scrambling to set up the wall once more. But with the Baneling Nest not yet done, there isn't much of an answer here for these Adepts.
Yeah, hero's been trading well.
He's going to try and run back. Right now he hasn't
And he
taken
wants
much worker
drones.
damage,
He
but
gets
here
into the
they do
mineral
shade
line.
into
Oof.
the mineral line. All the links starting to fall. Some Banelings being morphed right in his face here. He's going to shade on through to the natural.
Yeah,
but
denies the
these
Banelings.
trades just feel
3
so good
drones.
for hero right now. There is a full wall here, so
More
he can get
Adepts have
stuck in this
arrived.
corner, join up with these other 4 Adepts.
And hero's trading insanely well. He hasn't dealt critical economic damage, but there are just so many links falling. So
There
many.
still aren't enough lings on the outside of this wall, so it's really a difficult position right now for Shin.
Oh, the
There's
drone.
another shade coming through. And
no.
finally, hero connecting with some drone damage. Already the trade has been
11 drone kills. That's critical
favorable
damage.
for hero.
Critical damage.
And if that shade finishes before these Banelings connect, this is
No, he
spiraling
gets
out of
in.
control.
No.
Yeah, the Adepts get into the main, and that's going to be
GG.
it. Shin said, I've seen enough. 11 drones falling already, and that build
GG, well
hit
played.
very hard. Got so much eco damage done, and I like unupgraded Zerglings just.
GG, well played. Winding it back here. If you recall, we did expect 2-base play and 2-base aggression here on Rorschach, and it wasn't Shin, it was hero. It was hero that was hyper-aggressive on Rorschach instead, going into Glaive Adepts. This is why, if you recall, we mentioned that the Forge there, I feel like was designed to throw off the Zerg play if there was a scout. Shin, it took him a long time to realize what was going on. He eventually saw the Adepts, but as they were already getting across the map, he set up the wall off. The Baneliness was very late because, again, he had no idea, and we saw hero just trade insanely well. Despite that, hero didn't have that 3rd Oracle. If you remember, it died early, so this could have even been a stronger assault from hero if he hadn't lost that Oracle, but regardless, still broke through, still overwhelmed, still punished Shin for not playing safe and not being aware of what was happening. GG. GG, well played. Heroes up 2-0. It looks like we're going to be come to a break. Here. Just quickly catching up in the chat. Would 2-base Muta be good on this map? Oh, most likely not. Remember, this is Rorschach is a very small map, very short rush distance by ground. So if you're thinking like 2-base Muta in ZVT, there's a very high chance that your opponent is able to punish you for going mutas, especially in ZVT where Terran players can be very aggressive. I mean, I should also emphasize that you can probably get away with it at any like level of play, like you can get away with it, but at this level of play, at the highest level, there's a very high chance you get scouted and then you get punished by trying to go into muta play. You can make an argument for it, maybe not even like I'm even thinking like ZVZ, maybe you can go into like muta play, but even then, because of that short rush distance by ground, roach all-ins hit even harder in ZVZ. So it would be a really big risk, a really big gamble if you try to play muta. But regardless, we're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have our next game. Hopefully, we have a longer series here. Hopefully.
StarCraft tabletop miniatures game again, and this time we're going to be unboxing it. So let's get started. This thing is massive. All right. Oh my God. Okay. So much is in here. This is crazy. I believe these are crystals from the ground, as well as some kind of shots, I think, from Terran Marines here. These are little crosses here for the medics. Some plating here, it looks like, for Marines and Marauders. And then we go into all purple here, and I assume all these purple ones are different build-outs for different Zerg units. I think each one is a Zergling here. This has got to be the Queen? No, this could be Sarah Kerrigan. Okay, so now these are all the Terran parts, and you can see just how much detail goes into each little piece. Like, they keep it really true to Blizzard artwork for how the game looks. It looks basically identical to what you see in the cutscenes and in the cinematics. A lot of love went into this. So this terrain is actually supposed to be from Lost Temple. So if you played any of StarCraft 1 or 2 from the early days, Lost Temple was kind of the map. This is what it comes with. This is the tile set. This is Lost Temple, the map. So it comes with a die here, the playing cards that allow you to play the game. Ruler, so you can measure how many spaces a unit can move or the distance it can attack at. The markers that you would use when you're actually playing the game to catalog events that are happening in various turns. It does come with the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game booklet, which is basically going to be an instruction manual. And last, but certainly not least, rules and references here. So this is everything. All of this comes with the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game 2-player starter set. It is honestly way more than I even expected. I knew when I looked at the figurines on the back there was going to be a lot in here, but it's crazy. So if you buy this, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, a lot of fun,
A lot of assembling, a lot of painting, and then obviously a lot of games to play. Coming up next, we are going to start our first miniatures painting.
What's up guys, Tasteless here. I wanted to show you the Zerg units from the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. As you can see, these units look exactly like what you'd see in the cinematic. You start out with a ton of Zerglings, some like the standard ones you'd start out the game with, others with wings like when you get the speed upgrade. These ones are Raptor Zerglings. You get roaches in this as well. These also spawn little roachlings. What I love about this is not just the fact that the details there, but it's also that they took a lot of the game mechanics that you have when you're playing StarCraft and brought it into the tabletop miniatures game. The Queen also is able to make creep tumors. So you've got creep tumors that you're going to be spreading. You've got burrow tokens. So your units can be burrowing when you're actually playing the game. We've got Kerrigan over here. It looks like it's right out of one of the cutscenes you would see from those iconic Blizzard cinematics. My favorite out of all of them actually is going to be the Nidus. This thing is huge in comparison to the rest of the figurines. And it's cool to see that they're bringing the ability for Zerg to maneuver very quickly and spread into the game as well. As amazing as this looks, it's not just a bunch of figurines. This is actually a game. Each unit comes with a corresponding card. And on the card are the different attributes and abilities for that unit. Just like in a normal game of StarCraft, you get upgrades. This one's for the Roach. You flip the card over, you're gonna see what kind of upgrades you can unlock, and those are gonna give you different abilities that allow you to do different things with the units in the game. When a game starts, you get both minerals and Vespian gas. The units cost minerals, the tactical cards cost Vespian gas. Take a tactical card, if you flip it over, you get to see what abilities you're gonna be able to unlock and cast during the game. In order to get started, go to the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. There you can find the game rules, but also the army builder. From there, you pick a faction, how many minerals and Vespian gas you get. You spend those minerals and Vespian gas to unlock units and tactical cards. And from there, you're ready to go. For more information on the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game, sign up for the newsletter on Archon Studios website. Check it out.
Welcome back, everybody.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the RSL Revival StarCraft League Season 5 Playoffs Day 1 co-stream. It's been less than 2 hours. It's been less than 2 hours, and we're already on match points. It's been a very short broadcast, which is what we expect in the current meta of StarCraft so far. Again, we had a 3-0 in favor of Solar previously, and now we're getting into our fresh series with herO and SHIN. Oh, wait, did I not open predictions? Oh, no, that's unfortunate. No. Hold on. Did I not open predictions for this series? If not, I do apologize. Let me just double check. Yeah. Oh, boy. There we go. My apologies. So I guess predictions will be for the remainder of the series. So if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets as we are jumping into game number 3. Let's go.
We have herO in the top left and SHIN in the bottom right. And the question on my mind right now is SHIN going to be aggressive in this game? Maybe looking at the Solar Classic series, how successful some of those Roach Ravager Queen pushes were? Or is he going to kind of stick to his game plan here, go into the mid game, go into his layer tech, and try to play a longer game? Feels like against herO, that's pretty tough.
Oh, early drone scout coming in by SHIN.
So
could this potentially be for a third hatch?
Proxy hatch.
herO's natural expansion.
So getting into this here, welcome to Adatronny's Edge. The rush distance by ground can be short depending on your expansion location. SHIN moves out with the drone. I'll push back against what Surgeon was saying in the sense that like, SHIN gonna play macro. SHIN didn't play macro in game 1. Remember, it was a 3-base all-in, and it almost worked, right? Like SHIN was killing herO. He was killing the expansions. herO was forced into the all-in. herO was on 47 workers. So I would just want to put that into some context because like game 1 was looking in favor of SHIN, but towards the end it was SHIN being late to drone, being late to tech, and being late to kind of set up for the second stage of that kind of game. After he had dealt critical damage, he forced an all-in and he wasn't ready for it. For now though, SHIN does go for the hatch block on the low ground, and herO goes for a very mature response. We'll get into it.
These are just hatcheries, they're only blocking things. And so I have expected herO to pull some probes,
No.
take down the hatchery, and then just quickly expand to the natural expansion, knowing that he's safe. But herO, being herO, naturally does the opposite. He throws down his second gateway. He's now building Zealots. This is likely going to be 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts moving across the map in just a couple of minutes. And I wonder if SHIN is going to be able to defend, because this can certainly deny a third base of SHIN, but it might even get some damage done in the natural expansion of SHIN.
Yeah,
so very quickly, State, he was theorizing like, oh, you know, he thought that herO was going to pull the boys to deal with this. It is the incorrect, or I say incorrect, it is the least efficient thing to do to pull the boys. This is the most efficient thing. Get a second gateway. Get a second gateway, get a Cybercore, make 2 Zealots, make 2 Adepts, force a cancel, deal with his hatchery, and then counterattack. The reasoning for this is because, yes, your Nexus is going to be late as a Protoss. That is true, but you're going to be forcing out a bunch of Zerglings from the Zerg player. As State was alluding to, because you have so much army supply this early on with your 2-gate opener, you're forcing less drones and more army units out of your opponents, and you can also have potential to trade well as well. The downside, of course, is that herO's base is going to be delayed, but if he had pulled the boys, he would have had even less mining than 1 base saturation, right? He would have had extra workers off the mineral line fighting the hatchery that was never going to finish anyway.
Down here to maybe make one in the near future, but these Adepts are in production, and I mean, we have 10 Lings and 2 Queens right now.
So SHIN has to take this seriously.
Not going to be available just for the moment. The Adept Shade into the main.
Cleave's getting canceled.
We're getting some of the Queen. Can he get it?
Going to work on the Zerglings onto the first Queen. Now they're going to pull back. We have 2 more Adepts reinforcing in just a moment.
2 drone kills so far.
And SHIN's in an awkward position because he knows he needs to pull the Zerglings into the main base, because if those 2 Adepts get into the main base, too many drones are going to fall. But then it means he doesn't have enough in the natural expansion to actually clean up this force.
Yeah.
And here behind this is expanding, but the fact that we have 4 Adepts right now is crazy.
Yeah, he gets a Queen. Massive pickoff. Oh, can he get it? I spoke too soon. He does get a Queen. He gets the other Queen.
And this is amazing. SHIN's just droning through this, by the way. This is so bold. We're relying on these Queens and the Zerglings, but these Zerglings starting to get shaved off. Finally, speed is done. And now these Adepts have to make a decision.
Well, there's an Oracle on the way. I don't know if they do. I think you might push in here. There is 1 more Queen for SHIN. That's going to complicate matters a little bit here for herO.
That Queen is still very low for SHIN. We shade into the main. The Oracle's coming in.
Shading into the main base right now. We do have a Spore Crawler in the main.
herO is getting out of hand. He gets a Queen. He gets it.
The Queen of the
he shades down.
The Adept's still fighting damage in the main base, Sturgeon. And now the Natural's exposed.
This is too much.
Drones starting to fall.
This is just too much damage. It's too much damage. 4 drones going down. 2 Queens went down. More drones are falling. And do we wrap up the broadcast in another 2 hours? Do we wrap it up? This is game ending. That's 10 drones. Ooh.
So
God.
It's a lot of damage done. herO is pulled ahead in workers right now, 28 to 21.
Yeah, this is critical damage. 13 drone kills. This is unacceptable at this stage of the game, at this level of play. Losing 13 drones, that is brutal.
Have 3 oracles. I mean, what a perfect early game for herO. It is not easy to finesse this much damage out of a gateway unit start like that.
15 drones going down in total for just 2 Zealots and 5 Adepts. I mean, hero's just so far ahead right now. 33 pros to the 27 workers, and still 3
he's not even got the Queen. He gets another Queen, and another GG gets called.
Wow.
We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes.
I got to take notes on that one. That was the perfect defense of the 3 hatch before pool with one of those hatcheries proxy. I don't know why I can't speak suddenly, but I'm at a loss for words, I guess. But that was so well done. Usually it's 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts. It's kind of a similar defense to what you would do like if there was a 12 pool, right? Where you got to get some units to defend the 12 pool, and then you have the bonus as Protoss. You can move across the map. You can deny a 3rd base. You usually can't push in the natural expansion, but the starting in the main base and 2 more Adepts from the gateways means that herO had just enough firepower to get into the main base in the natural. With the Adepts, with the Shades, with the Oracles, everything fell apart.
Yeah, I was looking at SHIN's droning during that game, and he was droning as the Adepts were killing all his units. I was like, you need some more Lings here, right? But
yeah, I think he was just expecting it to be more of the standard response. The 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts.
I thought the Adepts were going to go home at one moment.
Yeah.
But hero's like, no, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I will back up what they're saying in the sense that, I mean, I don't know. Because I'll be honest, even if herO didn't go for the Oracle follow-up, like, he still would have dealt critical damage, right? Like, the Oracles allowed the game to end then and there, but herO was already doing quite a lot already with the Adepts, which was crazy. And I would agree with what Surgeon pointed out in the sense that SHIN was being greedy. He was running up too soon, right? He was running up too soon. We were trying to emphasize the fact that when you do see a 2-gate follow-up against a proxy hatch block, you need to respect it. You need to respect that as a Zerg player, because you're defending pre-link speed, and you're defending with a very limited amount of production as well, because you're on 2 bases. You're on 2 bases, you have a weak economy, you have limited queen production, you don't have link speed. Like, you need to respect it. It doesn't feel good. There are some Zerg players that in that position, they just respond with a spine crawler. They get an early spine crawler at their natural, or they produce extra Zerglings as well, one or the other. But here SHIN, he did drone up a little bit too early, a little bit too soon. But not just that, like, it was also just really rough positioning with the queens, right? He lost, what, 2 queens very early when it came to that defense, and things just very quickly snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played with that herO. He will claim the 3-0. He will claim the win. And with that, 2 3-0s here back to back. Solar non-stop all-ins against Classic. I will say that we had more of a back and forth. I would say that herO versus SHIN was closer. I know the score doesn't reflect that, but game 1, I feel like was SHIN's game, right? Game 1, like, SHIN was doing everything right up until a certain point. Like, obviously, we were being critical of the fact that SHIN took him a long time to make the decision to drone, right? He committed a little bit too hard after the first wave into the second wave. It took him a long time to realize that he needed to drone up to get a secure economy, to be able to build up and to be able to outpace his opponent, to be able to outpace herO. That did not happen, or it happened too late. It happened too late when it came to the droning in that first game on XR. For me, that was like the game of the series. Sorry, the game of the broadcast even was herO versus SHIN on XR. That was maybe, in my opinion, the most entertaining game. Outside of that, though, pretty straightforward for all the other matches. And congratulations to both herO and Solar for advancing on, as they're going to be facing off against each other in the up and coming days. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up here for the broadcast. We're going to be back tomorrow with RSL Day 2. RSL Day 2 of the playoffs, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with KSL. The KSL is going to be tomorrow morning. RSL Day 2 is going to be tomorrow evening. Again, we have broadcast after broadcast. Bam, as you can see here, un momento, you can have a look at our schedule. Bam, you can have a look at our schedule here. We are here on Friday evening. This is our Friday evening broadcast. Tomorrow, we have KSL and RSL, and Sunday is the GSL semis and finals. We livecast GSL for those that are curious, so there's no co-streaming for that. We just straight up livecast it with a clean feed, but bearing in mind, we do livecast GSL on Soup, not on Twitch. Not on Twitch, not on YouTube, because Soup is organized and run and funded and all that by Soup, which is another streaming platform. They do, of course, force all live coverage to be on the Soup platform, and VODs are available 48 hours later. So 48 hours, 2 days later, is when we do have the rebroadcast of the VOD on Twitch and YouTube. So just as a heads up, that's why typically we have the rebroadcast a couple of days later. It is mandatory that we cannot show that VOD until 48 hours later. Until then, it is exclusive to Soup. So if you want to watch it live, it's going to be on Soup. If you want to watch the VOD less than 48 hours after the fact, then the VOD is going to be on Soup as well. It's going to be 48 hours later, when then we do reveal it to Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, again, that's going to be over the weekend. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Hopefully day 2, hopefully day 2, we have a more dynamic RSL broadcast day. That is the hope, at least. What are the upcoming matches, actually? Hold on. Un momento here. So day 2 of RSL is going to be, let's have a look here, Clem versus Rogue and Bunny versus Lambo. Ooh, I think that Bunny versus Lambo is going to be a lot of fun. Clem versus Rogue, I'm very concerned about that one. Like, we've seen them play in recent times, and Rogue has had a really hard time against Clem. It's a best of 5, anything can happen. I'm hoping for a series. I'm hoping for a back and forth. I know that people like making memes about like Match Changeling, but Rogue hasn't gone Match Changeling in like a year, unironically. Like, it's a style that Rogue popularized for like a little bit in the meta, and then very quickly fell off. It very quickly fell off, and hasn't really been prevalent even in Rogue versus Terran matches. But I'm hoping to see some fun games tomorrow. Just catching up as we do have STC Grail. God. Thank you so much for subscribing to Twitch Prime for 39 months. We're about to wrap up. Just catching up a little bit further in the chat as well. Catching up. Wouldn't know what SHIN would do, but SHIN was shaky based on the first game. For sure. I mean, again, SHIN, like, he was ahead in game 1, right? He was ahead in game 1. It was just the follow-up. The decision to macro and the decision to drone was a late decision in game 1. But regardless, GG, well played. With that, we are wrapping up for the day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for some more StarCraft, whether it's KSL or RSL or GSL, all the SLs, all the all the SLs are over the course of Saturday and Sunday. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Otherwise, you can support us via Patreon. You can follow us on YouTube. VODs are available instantly, or they're available instantly on YouTube for the most part, except for GSL. So check us out there if you wish. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao. Bye, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.